February. So it's been more than 2 months since Dan came to my house. Dan's cat form has gotten noticeably fatter recently. The other day, when he lay down on his favorite basket, the poor basket couldn't take it anymore and finally cracked. However, when he changed back into human form, where did all that excess fat go? Hey, what are you looking at? No, nothing. Hm, why was he blushing? I scratched my head. Is it because I inadvertently stared at him for too long? Lately, he's been acting mysteriously, sneaking into the kitchen when I least expect it. I have no idea what he's up to. In the past, he attempted cooking multiple times, but none succeeded. Eventually, he could only make grilled meat. Could it be Dan secretly picked up his cooking skills again? I'm off to work. What do you want for dinner tonight? Steamed fish. Got it. After living together for a while, we went from being strangers to gradually understanding each other. However, there are some things Dan won't share with me. Once, I asked him where he came from. He simply replied, "A very far away place." He looked so sad, so I always left the topic there. Even though Dan could communicate with me like a normal person, there were many things Dan knew absolutely nothing about. For example, cell phones. It seemed like he comes from a backward or even isolated place. Last time, I was startled when I saw the cat holding a lifeless bird, wanting to share his prey with me, as he disliked being idle. After I explained, Dan understood. He currently has a part-time job. Although wearing a baseball cap all the time makes him extremely insecure and uncomfortable, Dan just kept it to himself without any complaints. I smile slightly. Also, get ready for my work. After finishing work, I go to the market. I'll be passing by Dan's workplace on my way, so I plan to stop by to go home together. Thinking of him, I couldn't help but smile. Normally at home, Dan's most comfortable with his cat form, except his appetite is 3 times that of a normal person. When he eats with me or uses the bathroom, he turns back into human form. The rest of the time, Dan is almost no different from other cats. He tends to sleep a lot, also happily chases after cat toys. He has a little nest that I bought for him. He seems to really like it. Seeing the chubby cat curls up in his little nest is truly adorable. I feel like my love for the cat growing more and more each day. I can't bear to let him go to work at all, but I respect his decision to want to hunt. Hmm? Huh? Dan? Wait, what's going on over there? I spot the back door from his workplace from afar, but instead of finding him working, I see him surrounded by a group of people in a small alley. What are those guys doing? Even pushing Dan? My cat. I can't bear the slightest harm to him. How dare they? For a moment, I lose my temper, rush forward and push the guy holding Dan's collar. What are you doing? Let go of him! Hey! Where in the world did you crawl out from? Quit poking your nose into other people's business. Oh, you don't look so bad. Huh? How about this? You satisfy us, then we'll consider to go easy on him. Deal? You see, we're very easy to talk to. Saying that, he reaches out to touch me. But just as his fingertips are about to graze my skin, Dan immediately grips the blonde's wrist tightly. Ah! What's with this freak? Sound. What's that sound? Monster! Ah! When I'm afraid Dan may strangle that guy to death, about to open my mouth to stop him, Dan releases the blonde. But that's just the beginning. Dan moves unusually fast. My eyes struggle to keep up with his actions. Once I gather myself, I notice all three of them on the ground, uncontrollably groaning in pain. None of them are able to get up. Let's go, Dan. I grab his hand and pull a little. Dan picks up the hat, puts it back on. His head hangs down. He doesn't seem to have much spirit. Seeing him like this, it's as if a needle has pierced my heart. Are you hurt anywhere? Dan shakes his head. How many times have they caused trouble for you? Dan continues to shake his head, once again without speaking a word. We should talk when we get home. I quietly hold his hand as we walk. Dan doesn't look at me. He just stays silent like that. Dan the type who rarely fights back. I still remember how the stray cat just ran from the aggressive shop owner. Even when he was severely wounded, he never thought of hurting anyone. If the guy back then hadn't targeted me, I wonder if Dan would have just stayed silent and endured everything again. What's with those thugs anyway? How long have they been doing this? It frustrates me that Dan never stands up for himself. What have they done to him when I'm not aware? I turn him around to check if he's injured anywhere. It's a relief that I don't find anything unusual. I suddenly change my expression, speaking in an angry tone. Dan, why don't you ever fight back? You totally can. When I think he won't answer, I hear a small whispering. I don't like hitting people who are so much weaker than me. But didn't they mess with you? You must know how to defend yourself. Don't you know that if you are bullied or injured, I will be hurt too? They are very weak. What if I accidentally kill them? But... He changes back into his cat form, jumping into the little nest with his back towards me. I come closer, gently stroke the cat's fur. After a while, I hear a small purr, then it gradually becomes clearer. My heart feels much lighter. Previous unpleasant emotions fade away. I scratch the fat cat's chin, trying to make him feel better too. I don't know if it's to comfort him or to comfort myself, but once I start petting him, I find it hard to stop. Nevertheless, I must control myself. I need to prepare for dinner. Dinner is ready. I take a shower before eating. Dan finished showering before me, already sits there waiting. His eyes sparkle as he looks at the dishes on the table, especially the huge fish one displayed in the middle. He can't seem to take his eyes off of it. After eating, his mood clearly improved. He turns into a cat happily running around. His innocence also infects me with happiness. Seeing me walk by, he rolls on his back, showing his full, round belly. He's indescribably adorable. I can't help but lean down, burying my face in the soft fur on his belly. Only then do I realize what I am doing. My whole body stiffens. The cat in front of me also freezes, creating a really awkward atmosphere. I quickly stand up, pretend to clean the table. The tabby cat still lays there dumbfounded, looking a little bit funny. Although I'm also embarrassed with a beet red face, seeing him like that boosts my confidence. He's even more helpless than I am. At night, I go into my room to browse on the phone for a bit. What's that sound? Did Dan drop something? Is he okay? I get out of the room. I don't see Dan, and there's nothing unusual in the living room. So I decide to check the kitchen next. There he is, wearing an apron and covered in cocoa powder? You? What are you doing? Nothing. Dan quickly hides something behind his back. Lately, he's been sneaking around in my kitchen mysteriously, piquing my curiosity. What is he trying to cook this time? I breathe in the scent of cocoa and milk in the air, growing even more curious. What are you hiding behind your back? Nothing. Seeing him like that, I suddenly want to tease him. I pretend to be sad. Okay, if you don't want to say anything, then forget it. I turn my back, shoulders drooping, about to walk away. Wait! Huh? This. Here. If you want to see it, then go ahead. He murmurs. This one. It should be given to you tomorrow. It's a chocolate with a cat's paw print. So adorable. Right? I know you like it the most, always holding my paw, not wanting to let go. I want to cover my face. I can feel how badly my face is heating up. Thanks, Dan. Originally, I wanted to surprise you tomorrow, but now you know. Sorry. Tomorrow? February 14. And I didn't even remember what's special about tomorrow. Valentine. It's truly heartwarming when loved ones think of me and even prepare chocolate. But I haven't prepared anything for him yet. No, this won't do. I have to think of a way to prepare the best chocolate for him. Dan chases me back to my room, continues to focus on his chocolate making. It turns out that lately, Dan has been busy in the kitchen because of that beautiful cat paw chocolate. I'm embarrassed, but also feel warm inside. Thinking about the gift I should prepare for Dan tomorrow, I take out my cell phone, trying to look for a good idea. I think for a while, unaware of how much time has passed. I feel a little exhausted. Half asleep, I sense the mattress beside me bearing weight. Something silently moves closer to me. I open my eyes slightly. It's a fat tabby cat. Dan? He quietly curls up next to me. This is the first time he lies next to me like this. It stays silent for a while, just when I think he only wants to lie next to me today. And about to drift back to sleep, I suddenly hear his voice. Hey, those guys in the afternoon, they didn't scare you, did they? No. Ray? What about me? Huh? Did I scare you? I must be a monster in everyone's eyes. His sad tone weakens my heart. I wrap my arms around the little cat. I'm not afraid, and you're not a monster either. You are the cutest creature in the world. Really? You really think so? Yeah. The cat nuzzles his head against my arm. Hey Ray, I will always protect you. Oh, thanks Dan. I feel the same. I also want to protect you. I gently nudge my head against the cat's, smiling. Hey Ray, I love you.